Hey everyone, Kevin Lewis with Home Life Benchmark Titus Realty, and it's time for your March 2022 Fraser Valley Real Estate Market Update. After nearly 2 years of absolute pandemic chaos in the real estate market, we are starting to finally see that change where more balance is starting to come back to the Fraser Valley real estate market. So what does that mean for you? As we all know, the laws of supply and demand have a very large impact on real estate and real estate prices. So what's been happening in the last couple months here that's starting to make this change come to fruition? February 2022 saw a 75% increase in new listings in comparison to January 2022. Now, while this is a normal thing to see, sales are still keeping fairly high. However, those new listings are also putting us to a point where we're 65% more active listings at the end of February 2022 as opposed to the end of January 2022. Of course, active listings is the supply factor of this law of supply and demand. And as supply is catching up to the demand, we're starting to see things in the market calm down quite a bit. Despite the fact that we're still seeing these signs of the market shifting, we are still seeing prices increase. And through February 2022, we saw an average of 6% price increase from the beginning of the month to the end. Now, that is massive for a 1 month increase. And I do think that that's going to start to fade out, and we will see still an increase through March 2022. But I do think it will be quite a bit less than what we see in February. And we're probably going to see that start to balance out going forward. Maybe even see some of the lower priced properties of each sector of the market start to drop a little bit as well. Now, when I say that the lower priced homes of each sector may start to drop, I don't think it's going to be a significant drop. And what I mean by this is, let's just take condos for example. There's a lot of condos that are currently available that exist in the lower mainland. We're not really at a crisis level for the number of condos. So lately we've seen condos that used to sell for $90,000 just 2 years ago. They're now selling for in the 300s almost, the high 200s, low 300s in Chilliwack, for example. I do think that these homes who have seen almost a triple in their value, while the rest of the market has only increased about 65% in that same amount of time, I do think that these bottom homes, so let's just say this is an average Chilliwack condo, has gone up to here, whereas these $90,000 condos have gone up to here. I do think things will begin to balance back out, and that's not going to be these higher priced ones going up. I do think that the lower ones, as we start to see more of them come onto the market, they're probably going to come down in price a little bit. I don't think we're going to return to the same average gap that we saw prior, as there still is a demand, an imbalance in the supply and demand, especially at the bottom price point of the market. Because if you think about it, anybody who can afford the bottom or higher than the bottom price can of course afford the bottom price. So everybody looking to buy a home is able to buy into these bottom prices, but people who can only afford the lowest part can only compete there. So really, you do have the most amount of potential buyers in that sector of the market, and that will hold it up a little bit, but I do think we will see that correction come in the near future. In addition to the building of supply, we also want to point out that February 2022 actually had more new listings than it did sales, which again is adding to that total active inventory that we need to see build up in order to achieve the balance in the market. So this brings us back to the question again, what does this mean for you in your situation? Well, it really depends what you're doing. If you're looking to buy into the market, it's definitely a good thing, as we're starting to see a little bit more time available to make decisions. We're seeing, when we do go to multiple offers, on average, we're seeing fewer offers for each property than we were a month ago, even 2 months ago. And we're starting to see those prices stabilize, and the market is becoming a little bit more predictable. Now, of course, we're always going to, in any type of market, have certain properties that sell way higher than expected for whatever reason, and that's certainly going to be more prevalent now, as we are still in a very active market. We're just coming back to more balance than we've been in. and we've been in an incredibly imbalanced market. Now, I know I did mention that we might see a slight correction in the bottom priced properties for each sector. However, I do think that the prices today are going to be substantially the same as what they are going forward. So I wouldn't recommend to any of my buyer clients or anybody looking to get into the market for the first time to really wait for prices to come down substantially. I just don't think it's going to be substantial. And with interest rates continuing to rise, I do think that that's going to add to the fact that affordability will remain quite close to the same if you're paying a higher interest rate on a slightly lower purchase price. Your monthly payments are going to work out to about the same as they would have on that higher purchase price, making it a bit of a moot point if prices do correct at all. Now, of course, if you're looking to sell your home and move into a newer, bigger home or something like that, now could still be a great time to do that, as you probably have a huge amount of equity in your home, making that down payment for the next place that much easier. And depending on when you bought, interest rates, even for a 5-year fixed, are potentially lower than what you're in currently, making it a good time to make that shift to the bigger property and not being as much of a burden on the wallet as it could be in different situations. Now, of course, if you're just selling for the last several months or the last year and a half really, I've said just hold off unless you need to sell and the timing's right for you to sell right now. However, I would start to change that idea now, where it does look as if prices are about to stabilize and we are getting into a bit of a market where we have a lot of active inventory now. It's now time to start thinking about if you're wanting to sell a product or a home and not get back into the market or sell an investment. Now may be a better time to do so than it has been for the last several months. Just as I said, for buyers, we're seeing fewer multiple offer situations, and when we do go to multiples, it's less offers per property than we had seen over the last year. I say the same thing to my sellers. Now realize that if you sell today versus 6 months ago, you're gonna make more money on your home, but you might feel a little bit less excited about things because you might only have 10 showings and 2 offers after a week. However, that number that's coming in on that offer is very likely to be much higher than it would have been 6 months ago, when you would have had 50 people coming through the open house and 30 offers on your property. It doesn't matter how many offers you get, it matters what the price of the best offer that you accept is, because you can only sell your house to one person. So 30 offers or 1 offer, if that highest offer is the same, you're in the same position. Overall, I'm very happy to see that this balance is coming back to the market, and I keep saying coming back. We're not at all in a balanced market yet. We are still very heavily in a seller's market, but we're trending in the right direction. And I think this is a good thing for everybody. The majority of people who are going to be selling a property are also going to be purchasing, which means that absolute chaos that the buyer's market has been for the last year may be just that much easier to navigate. As always, I love hearing from you guys, so leave me a comment below, send me a text message, 604-218-5635, give me a call if you want to chat about things, send me an email, let me know what's going on, and of course, if you're thinking of making a move in the near future, don't hesitate to get in touch. It's never too early to start planning. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to talking to you soon.